Governor Roy Cooper has issued his latest coronavirus relief spending budget recommendations. And joining us with expert analysis is Joe Coletti, Senior Fellow at the Locke Foundation. Joe, first of all, your general impressions of what the governor talked about when he was talking about these priorities.
Yeah, for the most part, I don't think anybody can disagree with the priorities of, let's get the state moving and have education happen for our students. That's why the legislature passed the bill to get schools open again. But and $4 billion of what the governor is looking at is already appropriated from Congress, and so that's not a question either. When you get to the $700 million that the governor has looked to spend of state money, that's where you start running into questions. And is this the right time to be spending new state money instead of waiting for the budget year to begin in July?
Yeah, and so you're talking about the state level of funding, and that's what Governor Cooper and his budget director were talking about. Among the priorities, the first thing that really caught people's attention, one-time bonuses, $2,500 for teachers and principals, another $1,500 for non-certified school personnel in the public schools, $2,000 for workers in community colleges and the universities. Is this the time to be talking about that?
No, and this is really not the time to be talking about that, because the reason why when the governor said that these people have not received pay raises, it's his own fault. He vetoed bills, and the Democrats in the legislature sustained those vetoes and wouldn't let a vote come to the floor in the Senate because they wanted a campaign issue. And then when the virus hit and everything shut down and all the money had to be restrained, they lost the opportunity, and the NCAE, their allies, lost the opportunity to actually take care of teachers. They were more worried about having an issue than they were about actually providing pay. And now the governor is trying to backfill something and put teachers ahead of every other state employee who is also in the same position of trying to be able to do their jobs in the midst of a pandemic.
And as a reminder, the governor's standing against funding for teacher pay increases was not just in the overall budget he vetoed, but also in bills specifically targeting teachers, right? Right.
The legislature gave him plenty of opportunities to go along with lower pay. They had additional bills that said if we get this amount for now and then we pass the budget, the full budget, then the pay raise goes up even more. And the governor vetoed that, and the Democrats in the legislature opposed those bills, and they wouldn't allow the budget bill to get enough votes to override. It only took a couple senators to do that, and they refused. And the governor was opposed to every opportunity that he had to provide this pay, and now he's trying to have a bill that provides $468 million to people that he would not provide an actual pay increase to, and he's trying to provide them with a one-time pay bump to offset that.
So the governor came out with this plan. The General Assembly is looking at what to do next. Should any of these ideas that were in the governor's plan be in the next bill that comes out, or should all of these things just wait for the normal budget process?
I think the approach of the legislature is the best approach right now, that we don't know what the federal government is going to do. They have been more than generous to states, especially to North Carolina. We have $4 billion right now sitting in unreserved fund balance, and that's what the governor wants to start spending down. But he's trying to spend money that the federal government may more than offset. One of the items that he's looking for is higher unemployment compensation. And the federal government is already providing still $300 bonus payments per week to people who are unemployed and extending those on. There's no reason in the state, and the legislature looked last year before the federal government passed anything at how do we help people who are unemployed. And they had considered raising unemployment compensation and extending the time period of benefits but then when the federal government stepped in at the time with $600 a week, unemployment benefits and extended those benefits for through the end of 2020, the legislature was in good position then to pull back and not spend state dollars on top of federal dollars, which would just make it that much more difficult to bring people back to work. And so the legislature is doing the right thing right now. They passed a bill to appropriate the federal funds that have come down to the state, which is $4 billion. And in addition to all the money that was appropriated last year. And they're holding off on using additional state dollars until the actual budget session, when we start taking a look at what happens July and onward.
One person who will be watching this entire process very closely as it does move forward is Joe Coletti. He is Senior Fellow for Fiscal Policy Issues at the John Locke Foundation. Joe, thanks so much.
Thanks, Mitch.